up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you guys doing? I hope all of you guys are doing great. I know that your exam results have been, is set to be announced in the next couple of days. A lot of you guys are nervous thinking about it. I understand, but it does not mean that you stop your term two preparations where it is right now. That is one part of your, part of your studies, and this is another part. So make sure that you continue with your preparations and don't waste your time, right? So, anyways, a very warm welcome. My name is Anoop, and this is Vedantu's 9th and 10th English channel. I hope you guys are all doing fantastically well. Before we start, hit the subscribe button so that you get notified of all the future sessions, so that you guys can start with your preparations, parallelly, because we are doing all the 6 subjects over here for CBSE as well as ICSE students. Although for ICSE, it's been a long time since I've come up with a video. It's been a really long time. First of all, I would like to apologize for that. I know this is a very regular thing now, especially for ICSE students. I'm really sorry for that, people. But yes, I'm back now, so we're gonna get into the topic without wasting much time. A very warm welcome again. What we're gonna learn in today's session is basically, people, we'll talk about the one-shot series of sound. So as you guys know, if you haven't watched the previous video yet, we had done one shot of sound, part number 1, where we talked about sound waves, echo, natural, forced, and damped vibration. So we talked about all the different things that you need to remember, that you need to know, the important stuff from this chapter of sound. Today, what we're going to understand is basically what is resonance and what is loudness, pitch, quality, and how does that help us in our day-to-day life. That is what we're going to talk about. So we're going to keep it very simple, very light, but yes, we'll make sure that you're able to understand everything for today. Alright guys, so without wasting much time, make sure you stay till the end, because I have some questions also for you guys at the end of the session, which are going to be super helpful for you guys. So make sure you stay till the end. And yeah, at any point of time you have a doubt, you need some certain clarification, let me know in the comment section so that I can help you out with that. And if there is a certain video that you guys want more help in, is there any topic at any point of time you feel like I need a little bit more clarification on that, let me know in the comment section. I keep checking it out, so if you guys let me know in the comment section, I can respectively make videos on that as well. Right guys, before we get started, I wish you guys all the very best for your term 1 examinations results. I hope that all of you guys have done really well. I am sure that you guys have done really well. You just need to believe in yourself and don't feel nervous about it. It's just because there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can control about it. Just keep your, keep your mind fresh. Make sure you stay motivated and do your very best. Are you able? So without wasting much more time, let's get into what is a resonance. So what is this resonance and how does it, matter, right? That's what we're going to start with. So what is resonance? One of the best examples that I can come up with when you think about resonance is, I don't know if you guys have watched this before. So there are certain opera shows, operas, like basically you'll have an auditorium and people sing, right? So in certain opera shows, what happens is that especially ladies, right? Especially ladies, and even guys can do it, but mostly girls, you see that. I mean, girls in the sense, these opera singers, what happens is that they sing at a very high pitch. I don't know if you've ever noticed this before. So when they sing at a very high pitch, you see that the glass, they would have been holding a glass on one of their hands. They would be singing right to the glass, and see that apparently the glass breaks just because of the sound produced. Now, this is something that you can see even in comic movies also. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched Arrow or any kind of comic shows like that. So there are people who can actually produce very high frequency sounds, and because of the high frequency sounds, what happens is that the glass breaks or the building itself falls down in Marvel and DC universe. But yes, there is a science behind it. It's not just it's not just it's not that Marvel and DC made up that stuff. There is a certain science behind it. So we're going to talk about exactly that. We'll start with what exactly is resonance and when do we achieve that resonance. So the thing is, people, what happens is that every object, right, you, me, this table, every object in the universe has its own natural frequency. Now, you guys know what frequency is. I don't think I need to go back into it. I've talked about this in the previous session. So if you're confused about that, please go through the previous one. You'll understand it. So what happens is that every object has its own natural frequency. So when you're singing to it, as you see over here, what happens when you're singing to this, or when you're producing a vibration, what happens is that this vibration that you're producing, that the sound that you're producing, is basically applying a force, or you can say that it's sort of a force vibration. So what is happening is that resonance is actually a special condition of a forced vibration. Now again, we have studied about forced vibration also in the previous session, so make sure you check that out as well. So what happens is resonance is a special kind of forced vibration. So what happens is that when you match the natural frequency of the object, like I told you, every object has its own natural frequency, isn't it? So when I when I start singing to it, or when I apply when I produce a sound which has a frequency very similar or close or equal to the natural frequency of the object, when you attain that, when you achieve that frequency, what happens is that if you look at it very carefully, you can see that the glass starts to vibrate with greater amplitude. This is what is known as resonance. So resonance is a special condition of a forced vibration due to the external periodic force, that is, you continuously providing a sound or continuously emitting a sound which is equal to the natural frequency of the object. So when the frequency in the forced vibration, the frequency of the forced vibration is equal to the natural frequency, what happens is the body starts to vibrate with greater amplitude. This is what is known as resonance. Now the fact is, guys, resonance is something that you can actually notice in a lot of different places. For example, if you talk about how the radios work. Even radios work pretty much on the same thing. So what happens is that you'll have a radio station somewhere in the city. So you'll have antennas and stuff, right? The radio station would have an antenna. So that will send out radio waves in all the different directions. So imagine you have a radio. Imagine you're in a car and the car radio, right? The car would have a receiver. So you'll have the antenna which will receive the radio frequencies. So what happens is that you have to tune it to a certain station. Like for example, you have to tune it to 91.4 or whatever the station is. So when you tune it to that station, what is happening is that you are trying to match the frequency of the radio waves that is being emitted out from these stations. So when you try to match it, what happens when you match it, when you give it exactly that? So you'll probably notice this. Instead of 81.4, if I go to 81.3 or 81.2, you will still be able to hear the sound, but there'll be a lot of distortion. But if you come exactly to 81.4, you can hear the sound very clearly. So you're actually trying to match the frequency over here also. So that is also a form of resonance itself. So there also you can actually notice resonance. So it's not just that, it's not just opera singers. You actually, even in TVs also there are, the old satellites and all that. Even over there you have these kind of, it's basically working on resonance itself. So now talking about the experiments, guys, there are a few demonstrations, a few experiments that can actually help you to understand this concept of resonance a lot better. So one of that is resonance using a tuning fork. The other is resonance of vibration of a pendulum, or we'll talk about that also, and then we'll also talk about resonance of air column as well. Let's start with the tuning fork. So it's very simple, all right? So what I do is that I'll take two tuning forks which has the same frequency. Imagine that this tuning fork also has a frequency of 420 hertz. This one also has a frequency of 420 hertz. All right, 420 hertz. All right, so both of them have the same frequency. Now what I'll do is that I'll take a rubber hammer and then hit this first tuning fork. Now there is a sound box underneath. All right, now here they have not represented it, so there's a sound box underneath. Now what happens is that this will start to vibrate as soon as I hit it with a rubber hammer. This first tuning fork will start to vibrate. That vibration would be sent to the air columns underneath. So the air columns under the sound box also will start to vibrate. That would basically transfer the vibration to the air column that is there under the second tuning fork. As the air column under the second tuning fork also starts to vibrate, that vibration is then sent to this tuning fork. So what will happen is that because they both have the same frequency, this tuning fork will also start to vibrate with greater amplitude. So this is one of the best examples of resonance using a tuning fork. So the first tuning fork would have a forced vibration, which would vibrate the air column underneath. That will then create a larger amplitude in the second tuning fork, because under the second tuning fork also you have a sound box which basically transmits the sound to the tuning fork, and then it starts to vibrate with a greater amplitude. So that is one of the best examples of resonance. Not only that, you can even take an example of pendulum. So what you do is very simple. This is one of the most interesting experiments that you can find out there. So what you have is 4 different pendulums. All right. Now what I've done is that I have kept the length of the pendulum at different different lengths. For example, A has a certain length, B is a little shorter, C and A have the same length, and D is actually a little longer than the first B or A or C, right? It is the longest among the 4. Now we know that if the length is same, the frequency of these pendulums would also be the same. So C and A has the same frequency. So when I start to swing the first pendulum, when I just swing it, basically when I oscillate the first pendulum, what will happen is that as this pendulum vibrates, the vibration will be sent to B, it will be sent to C, and it will also be sent to D as well. So what happens is they all will start to vibrate. But what you notice is that C will oscillate at the highest, it'll have the highest displacement compared to B and D. C will have the highest displacement. Why? Because the natural frequency of A and natural frequency of C is actually similar, or is actually the same. So because of that, what will happen is that C will vibrate or will oscillate with a greater amplitude, and you see that it will be matching. They both would start to match each other's oscillations. So again, a very simple, very interesting experiments. If you guys can ever find out some videos on YouTube, that'll be even awesome. So just go check it out. You'll actually find it very fascinating. So see that there's some sort of selective vibration or selective oscillation that is happening over here. Even though C and D will vibrate, but they'll vibrate with a lesser displacement, or it will not be oscillating as much. But C will have the highest highest displacement. Why? Because A and C have the same frequency. Although there is force vibration on B and D, it will not be as much as C. Alright, the third experiment, on the other hand, is basically resonance in air column as well. This is also a very interesting experiment. So what you have is basically, you have a liquid. Let's say it's water, all right? Let's say it's water, or any liquid for that matter, all right? Let's say it's water, just to keep it simple. So what you have is basically a long tube. You have a tuning fork that is over here, and then you also have another, basically like a external container kind of thing. Now what I do is basically, people, when I vibrate the tuning fork, what will happen? The vibration would also be sent to the this one. The air particles also will vibrate, and the water particles also will vibrate slightly. Now, what happens is that, guys, if I keep on increasing the air column, that is, if I keep on sending the liquid from here to here, all right, if I keep on sending it, at a certain length of this air column, as the air column's length increases at a certain length, what will happen is that the frequency of this tuning fork will be matching the frequency of the air column. Getting it? The frequency of this tuning fork will be matching the frequency of the air column. And as soon as that happens, you would actually be able to hear a very loud sound. Suddenly, you'll be able to hear a very loud sound. So this is, again, you're trying to match the frequency of the air column with that of the tuning fork. So at a certain length, what happens is that their frequency would be matching each other. And as soon as that happens, you're able to hear a very loud sound, which again is an example of resonance. Why? Because like I told you, it is a special case of force vibration. So this is the one that is causing the vibration. That is the force vibration. That is the agent that is causing the force vibration. And this air column already has its natural frequency. Once you match that natural frequency, once the air column meets the frequency of the tuning fork, what happens is that the amplitude at which the air column vibrates would be far more greater, and hence you're able to hear that very loud sound. And again, like I told you, there are a lot of examples that you can see of this. You can see a vibration in pendulum, like I told you before, in machine parts also. I don't know if you've ever noticed it before. So I still remember this. So back in the day, I mean, when I used to go to school, I used to go in BMTC. BMTC is nothing but the local transport. It's the state government run transport buses and all that. So there was a certain type, it was an old bus, not the newer ones, like not the BS4 and all that. There was old bus, all right. I used to get into that bus all the time. For some reason, the time that I get out of the house, this bus would always be matching. All right, residents over there also. Now, what happens is that, guys, when I get into this bus now, every time the driver, what happens, like, it's a stretch of road, all right, and the traffic is not that much. So it's a highway, isn't it? So basically what happens is that as soon as the driver matches a certain speed, now this bus has a lot of vibration, right? It's an old bus, right? So it has a lot of vibration. So what happens is that as the engine starts to vibrate, at a certain point, when the speed of the bus keeps on increasing, at a certain point what will happen is that because of the glass and everything, I told you, it has its own natural frequency. As soon as the vibration of the machine matches the vibration of the glass, you would be actually able to hear a very, very loud sound, and these glasses used to rattle like anything, and it was very irritating all the time. It used to rattle so much that you can actually it'll drown all the other sound. All you would be able to hear is this rattle. So that again is an example of resonance itself, because you're matching the natural frequency of the object with the force vibration is matching the natural frequency of the object, and hence what happens is that there's a larger amplitude. The vibration is the amplitude of the vibration increases, and hence you're able to hear that very loud sound. In fact, guys, one of those days, one day what happened is that the glass just broke. Honestly, the glass broke, and there was another person sitting so there was a person sitting next. So luckily, this guy who was sitting in that bus was sitting on the other end of the seat, so he was not sitting over there. Luckily, he was he was unharmed. But yes, this can actually happen. So it's there are a lot of good things, but at the same time there are a lot of bad things also. It can cause it can be very dangerous at times as well. In fact, guys, there is resonance in bridges also. So bridges, there are two things that happens in bridges. I don't know if you've ever noticed this before. So there is this one thing that you need to understand, that soldiers are generally not allowed to march on bridges. I'll tell you why. Because soldiers have, they walk in uniformity, isn't it? Like for example, during the Independence Day or the Republic Day, you can see the way that they march, right? It's so, it gives you goosebumps and stuff. See, what happens is when they're all walking with the same frequency, they are basically with the same, amplitude, same frequency, they hit the leg so hard and all of that. What happens is that they're actually, all vibrating with the same frequency. So if the frequency of their, of their stomping, of their marching becomes equal to the frequency of the bridge, that can cause to catastrophic results. So what will happen is that the bridge would start to swing with greater amplitude, and in some cases there have been examples where the bridges have actually broken and torn into pieces as well. But there are two reasons for it. There is one thing called as aerodynamic flutter, which you will study later on. So aerodynamic flutter is because of the wind particles also this can happen, but it can also happen due to resonance as well. So aerodynamic flutter is one thing, and resonance is also another factor that affects. So that is not the sole reason, but it's also one of the examples for it. And I already told about radio and TV. Even those TV receivers, those antennas and all, those, and in radios also, you basically have resonance itself. And not only that, if you talk about instruments also, like sonometers and all, even those instruments, those sound box of certain instruments and all that, they amplify the sound, right? For example, if you talk about guitars and all, they have this big air column underneath the string. So there also you're trying to amplify the sound, because again, you're trying to match the natural frequency, and thus you're able to hear the sound very clearly. So talking about the difference between forced and resonant vibration, because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys still have this confusion, please do take a screenshot of this one if you have to. So forced vibration is nothing but a vibration under an external periodic force, right? And the frequency of the forced vibration is not necessarily it is not necessarily equal to the natural frequency. Resonant is a special case of forced vibration, where the frequency of the external vibration is equal to the natural frequency of the object. That is the biggest difference between forced vibration and resonant. Apart from that, the amplitude of vibration is pretty small over here, because you're just exerting an external force. But here the amplitude is going to be much more larger. Why? Because you're matching the natural frequency of the object. Apart from that, the vibration of the body are not in phase. Like I told you before, it's not that they are both vibrating with the same same amplitude, and they're not exactly in phase. But in resonance, you see that they will be in phase. They'll all, like I told you about the pendulum. No, if you can check out the video of that, you'll actually notice that A and C in this case will actually vibrate with the same. They'll basically be going. They'll be vibrating at the same phase. Apart from that, the vibrations last for a very short period of time over here, but resonance can last for a very long time. Until the periodic force is there, it'll keep on, the amplitude will keep on increasing, and hence, like I told you about the bridges and all that can lead to catastrophic failures because of this. All right, people. So that is the first part of the topic, which is nothing but resonance. I hope it's understood. I hope it's clear. Let me know in the comment section if you've understood what is resonance, or if there's more examples that you guys need me to give you. I'll try to make some one-shot videos on that as well. Nonetheless, the last topic that we're going to learn about is this. This is the last topic of sound, so we'll be done with this whole chapter of sound. With this, tomorrow will also be coming out. The next video of electricity will also be coming out, so keep an eye out for that. Electricity one shot will be coming out tomorrow. So any one of you guys who are finding electricity difficult, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the like button, because people, that is the kind of motivation that we require, or we need to push ourselves as well, right? We also need some motivation at times. All right, last topic for today is this, guys. What is the difference between loudness, pitch, and quality? Now, here's the thing, guys. Let's say that there is a piano and there's a guitar. All right. Now, can you differentiate between the sound of a piano and a guitar? Yes or no? Just think for a second. Okay, let me give you another example. A man and a woman. Can you differentiate the sound between a man and a woman? You can, right? Even if the person is not seen, you can actually differentiate between the man and the woman, and you can actually differentiate between the sound produced by a piano to that of a guitar. Absolutely possible. Now you are able to do that because of these three properties of sound, or these three characteristics of sound, which is nothing but loudness, pitch, and quality. Now what are they, and how do they really help us? Loudness is nothing but, guys, the amount of energy, the amount of sound energy that is reaching the person. That is what is called as loudness, and it is something which is dependent on the amplitude. So greater the amplitude, more the loudness, and you are able to distinguish between a very loud sound to a faint one using loudness. So when a person whispers, they are actually producing, the amplitude of the sound produces much more lesser. So the sound is very faint, and you have to tell them, okay, be louder. I can't hear you. Be louder. Just talk a little louder so I can hear you clearly. So that differentiation you are able to do between loud sound and a faint one is by loudness. It is something which is dependent on the amplitude. Now I'm pretty sure you guys know what amplitude is. Amplitude is nothing but, guys, the displacement from the mean position, the maximum displacement from the mean position. So greater the amplitude, more would be the loudness. So if you look at it, if you see over here, loudness is here, the amplitude is much more lesser, so loudness is less. Here the amplitude is more, so the loudness is more. So here, if you talk about the relationship between loudness and amplitude, people, so the relationship goes like this. Loudness is actually directly proportional to the square of the amplitude. It is actually proportional to the square of the amplitude. That means that if let's say the square of the if let's say that amplitude increases by a factor of 2, then loudness will increase by a factor of 4. Or if let's say that the loudness is increasing by a factor of 2, that means that amplitude is increasing by a factor of 4, because it'll be 2 square then. So that is the relationship between loudness and amplitude, and this basically helps you to figure out which is a faint one and which is a loud sound. Moving on to the second characteristic of sound, guys, that is nothing but pitch. Now what is pitch is nothing but, like I told you before, you can actually differentiate the sound produced by a woman to that of a man. Why? Because of pitch. So pitch is nothing but, people, it is nothing but it is something which is dependent on the frequency. So pitch is helping you to find out the difference between, or it helps you to classify between a shrill voice to that of a bassier voice. So high pitched voice and low pitched, like for example, when if you talk about singers like Lata Mangeshkar and all, they have very, very high pitch. They can actually go to very high pitch, isn't it? Like they can go to these very high notes, like yeah, yes, I can, you can. That was a very bad representation of it, but yes. Anyways, so as I was saying, people, was utter catastrophic failure. But anyways, so basically, the greater the pitch, the higher they can go, so they can reach those high notes and all. And low pitch is like basically you're able to go really low, right? So like for example, I'm Batman. So when Batman says I'm Batman, he's got a very low voice, so that means he has a low pitch. So generally, people, if you look at the way that our larynx are, the voice box is, so girls can actually produce, or women can actually produce very high pitched voice because their voice box or the larynx is actually much more there's not a lot of space between them, so they'll vibrate with higher frequencies. But if you talk about men have if you look at the Adam's apple of men generally have this Adam's apple, which is basically protruding out. So because of that protrusion, what happens is the voice box is much more larger, so they're able to produce a bassier voice. So that low pitch and high pitch is something which you can actually find out, or you can distinguish by using pitch. Now you guys know what frequency is, people. For all those who are wondering what frequency or what is frequency is nothing but, guys, the number of vibration per second. So if I talk about these two ones, you can see that here there's only one wave front, there's only one wavelength. The wavelength is basically in 1 second only one trough and crest is what you can see. But here, in that same 1 second, you can see that there are a lot more number of vibrations. So frequency basically tells you how many number of vibrations are happening per second. How many number of vibrations are happening? That is what is nothing but wavelength. Sorry, that is nothing but your frequency. So girls can produce higher frequency sounds, which means that they have a high pitch sound, and men, on the other hand, produce low pitch sounds because they have lower pitch. All right, the pitch is much more, or the frequency is lower, and hence the pitch is very low. And women, on the other hand, have high pitch, which means the frequency is very, very high. The last and the final characteristics of sound is, guys, the quality or timbre. Like I mentioned before, you can actually distinguish between a flute and that of a guitar, or a sitar and a guitar, or a sitar and the piano. You can actually differentiate between the sound produced, even though, see, you have these notes, right? A, B, C, D and all. I'm not a musician, as you could hear it from my A, but yes, you have these different pitches. Like in guitars also, you have these A, B, C, D and all strings. You have all these different strings, right? So they have different different frequency and stuff. Now the thing is, people, if imagine there are two sounds which are produced by two different devices of the same loudness and same pitch. Same loudness, so they're playing the same note. Let's say they're playing A minor or something like that. So imagine that they're both playing the same sound, same loudness, and loudness also the same, pitch is also the same. So how do you classify whether this is coming from a guitar and the other is coming from a piano? That is done using quality or timbre. Now, what is quality or timbre is nothing but, guys, the type of wave fronts. So what happens is that the sound that is produced by a piano, maybe the vibration of that, if you look at the wave might be like this. It might be a normal sine wave that you see over here. But they have given the example of flute. So in a flute, you can see that the vibration is basically like it's a normal sine wave. But if you look at a piano, it's different. Even though it is it's periodic, if you look at the wave front, the type of wave that is formed, that is called as a wave front, right, or the wave form. So if you look at the wave form or the wave front, you can see that it's actually different. It's a completely different wave. The wave looks completely different. To that of a trumpet, it looks even more it looks even more weird. It looks more like a ECG scan that is going on, right? So this classification you are able to do because of the type of waveforms that is there. So that is what is called as quality or timbre. All right, people, and that is the end of the topic. That's all, friends. That is all for sound. I hope you understood everything. I hope you enjoyed the session. So let me know in the comment section. Let me know if you guys liked it. Hit a like and subscribe to the channel as well. Now we'll go on to some quiz questions, but before we go to the quiz questions, guys, I want to tell you something very important. If you haven't started your preparations yet and you still are looking for some sort of external help, and you want to really do well in your term 2 examinations, like really excel and prove yourself that you can actually do really better, because I know how intimidating ICSE can be, because like I told you several times before, even I studied in an ICSE school all the way from 1st standard till 10th standard. So I know what it feels like. So much content, so much to cover. So I understand the difficulty that you guys are facing, right? But it is not necessary that it's hard. It's not that necessarily it's hard, but the quantity is too much. There's a lot to start. There's a lot of stuff to study. There's a lot of stuff to learn. So in order to help you with your preparations, guys, we are always here for you guys. Vedantu's on this thing. What is that? YouTube channels are always there. We have Vedantu English, Hindi, everything is there. But apart from that also, if you need more help, if you need external help, if you guys need more help with respect to doubt solving and you want to enjoy the process of learning, guys, Vedantu's live classes is also here. Again, the intention is very plain and simple. It is to help you with your preparations, no matter what your problem is, be it doubt solving, be it conceptual clarity, be it having more questions to solve, just more questions. You know the concepts, but you need to get more practice in. That is also possible. Not only that, if you're lagging behind your syllabus and you do not know how to approach this, and you're starting to panic with respect to how to do your revisions and stuff, or be it a language that you prefer studying, and be it you're more comfortable in Hindi or English, whatever that is, people, for all these problems, Vedantu has a solution, and it's always going to help you and guide you in the right direction to help you with your preparations for your term 2 examinations. So I don't think it's wise enough for you to wait any longer, because the more time you spend waiting, the more time you're losing, right? It's not that you have your exams coming up 10 years from now. You have your exams coming up in another couple of months. So your preparations, starting your preparations early would give you that advantage that you need to prepare better, to ace your examinations. Now, let me just tell you what are you getting out of Vedantu first, before I tell you about anything else. First of all, guys, you can actually watch every single recording of every single session. Whatever sessions it is, you can always watch the recording of that. You can check out the past sessions and the upcoming sessions. So the entire week's or year's plan, you can actually check it out. And all the sessions that you've attempted in the past, whatever you attended or whatever you did not attend also, you can see it over here. So if in case you miss out a session due to medical emergency or something like that, you can always watch the recording, just like how it is on YouTube. And we always tend to have a lot of fun, guys, because we understand that there's a lot of content to cover, but it's also important to enjoy the process of learning. You should not be forced into learning a concept, right? That doesn't make sense. It should not be like that. So we understand that having fun is also important. So we always tend to have a riddle, or we always tend to have a lot of fun during the session, so that you also enjoy the process of learning, so that you actually love this concept rather than being forced into your head. And yes, we have a lot of ways to keep you guys interacted. We have thumbs up, thumbs downs, we have hotspots, we have quizzes. Yes, you have quizzes in the regular platform, which will actually give you a very good testament of how well you have understood the concepts. So you have options A, B, C, D, and you have to choose that options. And not only that, we have fastest fingers list, which basically tells you how fast you've answered. You have leaderboards, you have stars for every right answer that you get. So that means that even if you don't get on the leaderboard, it's still all right, because you're getting the number of stars that you require. So that star basically indicates or shows how well you have performed and how many questions you have given the right answer for. Not only that, you have drum rolls, we have confetti shots, we have applause, we have a lot of fun things, and we keep on upgrading our platform. We are constantly trying to become better. We are trying to bring in the best for you guys. So we have a lot of amazing stuff going on in the background as well. We have drum rolls and doors and whatnot. You have leaderboards. Again, the whole point is this, people. Not only will you learn the concept and understand the concept, but at the same time you'll also enjoy learning. It should not be forced into you, because these concepts you will need it for your higher grades as well, right? So our intention is very plain and simple. It should be that you understand the concept rather than being forced into you, because when you are forced to learn something, you tend to forget it. But when you enjoy that, you will actually remember it longer, for a very long time. I'm pretty sure you can only think about a lot of examples in the past where you actually learned a certain concept and you still remember it, because you learned in a different manner. And yes, guys, the biggest advantage is that on the regular platform, you can actually talk to the teacher. You can actually unmute yourself. The teacher can unmute you, and you can actually have a one-on-one conversation with the teacher. So here you're getting that extra advantage, because that is not something that you can do on YouTube. And not only that, people, every session will have someone called as a class teacher as well. So class teacher's job is to make sure that your doubts are being cleared inside the class. So just to give you an example, in this particular session that I took, right, there were about 88 doubts. 88 doubts were asked, and if you look at it, all 88 doubts were were solved inside the class itself. So that is a clear testament of how well and how effective the doubt solving methods are at Vedantu. Because not only will you have the master teacher, you'll also have the class teacher to help you support through the entire process, so that you actually get your doubts also cleared parallelly and you understand the concept as well. And not only that, people, you can download the notes of every single session. So whenever you feel like you've missed out something or you want to go back to a certain formula, you can download the entire PDF and go through it at any point in time you want. And everything that is written by the teacher can be downloaded, so you can refer to it whenever you want. And not only that, you also get a lot of other courses also. You get a lot of micro courses like stress relief sessions, breathing sessions. You have sessions on debate competitions. We have we have our own talent show called as Vedantu's Got Talent. So there's a lot of amazing stuff going on parallelly at Vedantu. It's not just studying. The tagline of Vedantu is maza aayega to samajh aayega. That means the more fun you have, the better you'll learn. So that's the intention behind that as well. So how do you enroll into the courses? How do you check it out? It's very simple. So this is one of the videos of CBSE. So what you have to do is, people, since you guys are already watching the video, go to the description of this video, click on show more, and go to ICSE Crash course full syllabus for term 2 examinations. So once you click on it, it will direct you towards Vedantu's website, where you can check out all of the things that I just talked about. Everything is plain and transparent. You can check it out by yourself. Apparently the link is not working. All right, let me just try out the other links. One sec. So just click on this link, guys. I don't know, my internet is, I think, super fast at this point of time. I'm recording this video at 4:50 in the morning, so you can understand my pain. So all right, I hope, okay, anyways, apparently it's not working. Interesting. Let me just see if I can open up any other links over here. So yeah, this is another video that I took up recently. So you can go to show more, click on the ICSE link, that will direct you to the page. Finally it's open. All right, so here you guys, the whole full syllabus coverage, and you'll also be getting revisions as well. So the entire thing until the end of your term 2 examination, guys, is going to cost you around 7,250 rupees, which I know that seems like a lot of money, but until the end of your examination, that is actually a very, very good deal, because you don't know if your exams are going to get extended or it's going to come in the month of March or April. But nonetheless, you're still going to get all the things that I just talked about, and you will also be, in fact, people, if you're checking out the video today, you would actually be getting flat 50% discount, which means that you are not going to be paying 7,000 rupees. It'll actually be much more lesser. Since I'm recording the video in the morning, you're not able to see it, but we have the EdFest coming up right now. EdFest is going to start from 5th till 7th. You have 3 to 4 days that you have. So you're actually getting 50% off if you use my coupon code AMEPRO. It's not going to be 7,500. It's going to be much more lesser than that. And if in case you don't want to pay so much of money, you can try the 1 month program. So you see, this trial for 15 days is 520 rupees. It's going to be, this is actually half of what you generally pay. So the price is actually 1,500 rupees. So actually, you know what, guys, right now the courses are going on at 60% off. That is why you're getting at 7,250 rupees, because the general cost of that is around 11,000 rupees. So you're actually getting 2,000 rupees off on the courses. Now, if you guys are skeptical about that, again, like I told you, you can try the 1 month program, which is just 550 rupees. Sorry, 520 rupees. That is very, very affordable, because the general cost of this is around 1,300 rupees. 1,003. Yeah, this is the general cost of it. But right now you're getting flat 50% discount on it, which means that you just have to pay around 5,520 rupees for the entire month, which means that this whole month of Feb until March 5th, you will actually be getting all of the courses that I just talked about for just 520 rupees. You will not get a better opportunity than this to start your preparations right away. 520 rupees, guys. Honestly, when I was in 10th standard, 500 rupees was my math tuition alone. Per subject, I used to pay 500 rupees. You are getting all subjects over here, which are all the major subjects, for 520 rupees for the entire month. That is a never you're not going to get that kind of opportunity again. And I would say please take it up and see for yourself how we can help you, how we can impact your preparations for your term 2 examinations. But again, the choice is yours. So yes, the ball is in your court. Right, people? So we're not done yet. We have to do some quiz questions also, because we have to test our knowledge. So we're going to do some quiz questions and see if you've understood the concepts or not. Let me know in the comment section how many questions you get the right answers for. And again, be honest, be true to yourself. Don't forward the video because it's a premiered session. So basically, people, once I show the question, I'll give you about 5 to 6 seconds. Pause the video if you have to. Please pause the video and answer it, whether it's A, B, C, or D, and cross-check if the answer that you got, that you chose, is the answer, is the correct answer or not. All right. The first question is this, guys. The voice of ladies is shrill because of what? Because of low pitch, high loudness, or low loudness. What is the reason that voice of ladies are shrill in nature? Shrill in the sense they are, like that. All right, that is what. It's 5 in the morning, and yeah, I hope that my mom doesn't wake up. I'll start the quiz, guys, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer to this question, people, is going to be high pitch, because like I told you, the ladies generally have high pitch voice and men on the other hand have low pitch voice, right? Moving on to the second question. The characteristic of sound which distinguishes a feeble sound from a loud sound of the same frequency is called as what? What is the characteristics of sound which actually helps you to distinguish between a feeble sound to that of a loud sound? How do you distinguish between that? What is the characteristics of sound? Is that loudness, pitch, music, or noise? Very simple question again. I'm pretty sure you've already figured it out. I'll give you guys 5 seconds. If you need more time to think, pause the video and check it out for yourself. See if you have gotten the right answer. I'll give the answer in 3, 2, 1. It is option A, guys. It's loudness. Loudness basically depends on the amplitude. Like I told you, the relationship is loudness is directly proportional to the square of the amplitude. So more the loudness, more the amplitude, or more the amplitude, more is the loudness. That's how you're able to distinguish between a feeble sound to that of a loud sound. Moving on to the third question. Resonance is a special case of dash vibration. Is it a special case of natural vibration? Is it a special case of forced vibration? Is it a special case of damped vibration? Or none of them? What is a resonance? I told you this already. In fact, the entire entire session started off with this definition. I hope you remember it. I'll give you the answer in 3, 2, 1. I hope you have already found out the answer. Pause the video if you need more time. But the answer is going to be, guys, option B. It is forced vibration. It's a special scenario, a special case of forced vibration. Fourth question. During resonance, the frequency of the driving force is dash natural frequency of the driving body. The frequency of the force vibration, the driving force, which is the external periodic vibration, is equal to or is dash to the natural frequency of the object. Is it greater than the natural frequency? Is it less than the natural frequency, or equal to, or either greater than or less than? Very simple question. This is again the definition of resonance. I hope you remember it. I hope you've already figured it out. I'll give you guys 5 more seconds. If you need more time, pause and then give the answer in 3, 2, 1. It has to be equal to, people. Only if the external periodic vibration, the frequency of the external periodic vibration is equal to the natural frequency, that is when you actually get, or that is when resonance basically happens. All right, guys. So that's it from my side. Thank you for joining the session. Thank you for spending your time with me. I hope you've enjoyed the session. I hope you learned something new. Thanks a lot for spending your time with me. Hit the like button if you did. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so that you get notified as well. Thank you. Have a fantastic day ahead. All the very best for your term 1 examinations. And yes, kickstart your preparations for term 2 examinations right away. 520 rupees is the cost right now. You will never get an opportunity like this. So 520 rupees for all the important subjects, math, math and science. You'll never get an opportunity like this. So please go ahead and check it out for yourself. See for yourself. See the testimonies. See how we can help you out with that. All right, guys. Thank you for joining the session. Take care of yourselves. Take care. All the very best for your term 1 examinations results. I hope, let me know how it turns out. Let me know in the comment sections how your exam results were. I'll see you all soon. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Until the next time we meet, this is Anoop saying adios for now. Take care and have a fantastic day ahead. Bye, people. See you all. All the best.